Now it seems like we're down to one or two folks that could possibly get in on points or on the danger of being kicked out or maybe clawing their way back in. Alan Cavanna, you were talking a moment ago about the fact that even though Bubba Wallace right now is 28 points to the good, Suarez is in 17th, 28 back. If the rolls happen again like they did at the Indy road course, if that happens again at Watkins Glen, then all of a sudden we're looking at a situation where Bubba could be on the outside and Suarez is back in charge.
If math tells me, and that is indeed correct, I think Bubba went in with about a 54-point lead going into Indy and comes out with a 28-point lead. So, yeah, I mean, just seeing, again, Bubba didn't get any stage points, and I think he finished about 18th, which isn't awful, but you have people pursuing you, right? And the people pursuing you happen to be Daniel Suarez, who got stage points, a great third-place finish, and could possibly do that again at Watkins Glen. You do the math on that. It comes out maybe pretty even, which would make a very interesting race going into Daytona in terms of getting the win and or racing for points, all that jazz. So the fact we're going back-to-back road courses is a very cool thing on the schedule at the moment. We don't often see that, and the fact that it's happening now to see if we can replicate what we just had in Indy, Bubba might want to spend a lot of time in that simulator this week.
You know, looking at that graphic, what stands out the most to me, and there was so much that happened, obviously, with everything that took place at Indy, but I believe the week before Indy, Ty Gibbs was like 6 to the good. And now he's negative 49 and, you know, in 18th place. So much can happen in 1 week for the good or for the bad. So, you know, if you're Bubba Wallace, you're certainly not breathing easy. And if you're Daniel Suarez or even maybe Ty Gibbs, you're not giving up just yet. You know, I think that's the moral of the story.
All right, let's talk about this. Is there an outlier, Alexis? Is there somebody not named Bubba Wallace or Daniel Suarez that could find their way to the playoffs?
Yeah, Chase Elliott. I mean, we talked about him in the opening segment. And I know, again, I'm kind of like talking backwards because I've been on this show for weeks and weeks and said I just don't see anything out of that team that leads me to believe they're going to make the playoffs. And honestly, even if they do, I'm not sure they're going to make it out of the first round. But that's another story to have in 2 weeks if we need to have it. But what he showed at Indy, what his team showed at Indy, shows me that Watkins Glen is probably the best racetrack to be next for him and his team coming up on the schedule.
What do you think of what Alexis just said, Alan? Is she right on? She's spot on?
Absolutely. And we were talking about the signs of life for Chase Elliott. Well, this is the place to go if you want to have some success with all that momentum you have, because he's won there before, twice, I believe. He's great at these road courses, finally coming around with the next-gen car. And if he can replicate what he did at Indy, just one spot better, he can absolutely do it. And look, Chase Elliott, yes. Daniel Suarez, yes. Not long ago, I would have said A.J. Allmendinger, Austin Cindric. Not showing up, though. They did not show up at Indy. They did not show up at Sonoma. So I'm a little worried about them, where normally we would say, absolutely, put them in the mix. But what have you done for me lately? The 12 or the 2 and the 16, not much for me.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, anybody that's listening just thinks that I flip-flop back and forth, which is my prerogative, by the way. But anyway, the 60, I'm thinking A.J. Allmendinger. You know, I've said to Doug's question before, who is outside that could make an impact and win their way in. And I said for a while, I thought AJ on the road courses could be somebody. I don't think that anymore. He, you know, obviously the showing that he had in the temperament that he had, especially after the race on Saturday, just wasn't what is typical of AJ.
Go back to that. And we interviewed him on the radio because he finished third. He faded to third after winning the pole and running up front a lot. And it was like, he admitted, I'm not in the zone.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm not focused enough, and he's not going to make the playoffs.
No, not.
He's not. He won't make it.
Not with the speed they're showing, not with the performance they're showing. I did some, bear with me, journalist math here, but in the 4 road course races, his average finish is 20.75. A.J. Allmendinger, his teammate Justin Haley, is 20th, is doing better on road courses this season than A.J. Allmendinger. So performance is part of that with the car, but also the driver if he's not in the right headspace. But it seems like the last opportunity is Watkins Glen, and I'm just not seeing anything that would show me he can do it, at least now.
Colleague Racing's not
exactly
on their game either. They're not bringing fast cars to the racetrack. There's something there. You don't just leave a team to go to a team that you traditionally beat Rick Ware Racing, Justin Haley. There's a reason that happens. I don't know all the behind the scenes. And then A.J. Allmendinger just coming out saying, I can't win. And then running off and skipping qualifying at Richmond so he could try to go win an Xfinity race. Just something not right in that world.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know what it is, but I don't disagree with that statement.
You know, Alan, are you privy?
I don't know what it is, but you would just expect more, especially in this next-gen era of the smaller teams, if you will, rising to the occasion. You know, if the Front Row Motorsports of the world can be doing what they're doing, you would expect Colleague to be doing the same. And that's part of the reason why A.J. Allmendinger was brought in, be back in full-time Cup, because you have these 6 opportunities a year to be a winner, to be a playoff driver. That's why you hire A.J.
He doesn't look like he wants to be in Cup right now.
I don't know.
And I like A.J. This is not a dump on A.J. Allmendinger segment, but he doesn't look like a guy that wants to be there.
And, you know, family on the way. And, you know, once maybe the stress of that is all good and beautiful. And, you know, maybe he has the best week ever of getting a new baby boy, I believe, and then winning at Watkins Glen. Maybe. That would be a heck of a turnaround in 23.
It certainly would
you know,
be.
we just talked about Michael McDowell was not a Cinderella story. Cinderella is nowhere around Watkins Glen either, by the way. Just saying. Don't look for.
Don't plan on that.
Don't look for the carriage. Look for the pumpkin.
The slipper.